Brilliant, I hear you say. Okay, well, this is a bit of fun now. I'm now going to teach you to play a very complicated sounding chord and just give you a very brief introduction to bar chords. So the chord I'm going to teach you is E minor 11. Again, I'm not going to go through the theory of why it's called that. That's going to be for later lessons. But an E minor 11 is made up of all the open string notes. E, A, D, G, B, E. Now there are various different ways of playing those notes in different orders, but for the purposes of actually playing E minor 11, you can get away with this. Yes, there are different variations of playing it, but if you say to any of your mates, I can play E minor 11, they will look at you and go, you're a pretty cool dude. What you don't need to tell them is that E minor 11 is just that. Okay, so I just thought I'd mention that one in. There's going to be all sorts of songs that include that type of thing in them, just, briefly. But, this is just a bit of fun just to teach you about funny chord names. So that's your E minor 11. Now, what I'm going to do now is just teach you a bit about bar chords. We're not going to do it anything in any detail because you need to learn all the open chords first. But what is a bar chord? A bar chord is essentially a chord you're playing where you're holding down the strings where there are no open strings involved. So all the chords we've learnt so far, G's, your E minors, your C's, they'll have open strings. In other words, you're not fretting certain strings. You're using the open notes. With a bar chord, you actually are fretting every single note for each string. So it's called a bar chord because generally you're putting a bar across like that. Now we're not going to go into detail here, but suffice to say, as you progress your guitar playing journey, we will be using a lot of bar chords. But essentially, all the chords we're teaching you down the bottom of the neck with the open chords, like your C's, your A minors, your G's, your whatever that might be, you can play them up and down the neck in different positions to get different sounds and different flavours, colourings, textures, etc. Type of music you're playing, you may want to play bar chords. If you're playing folk, you might want to play open chords, etc, etc. But I think it's just important to start off with, just to explain what they are before, we get into too much detail of these. And the bit of fun element of this is because there's your E minor 11. If you put your finger and bar it across the first fret, sounds quite jazzy. I quite like that actually. That is F minor 11, F sharp minor 11, G minor 11, etc. So you're taking the root note there, and whatever note it is you're playing on that bottom E string is your chord minor 11. G minor 11, A minor 11 on the 5th fret, etc, etc. And what's really funny about this, I was messing around with this earlier, and actually I thought, I sound like a jazz guitarist. And what you're going to do now, just for me, is just practice putting your fingers across all those frets. Doesn't matter where they are, making sure your fingers near to the actual fret marker there, so near to the fret wire there, making sure, yep, you can hear every single note. This is purely an exercise to start building up the strength in your left hand in preparation for when we learn bar chords, however many lessons down the track. Using your thumb to press quite hard on the rear of the fretboard there, on the neck of the guitar. And I would suggest, a bit like the twist and shout riff we practiced earlier, pick your guitar up, just do that, you can put it down again, and you'll find the strength in your left hand will become more you'll get stronger basically, which will really help you in good stead for when we start learning bar chords. Anyway, that was a bit of information I hope you enjoyed and will digest, and let's roll on.